Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever, wherever, however this may find you, and may it find you well indeed. We are going to do a history lesson today. Oh, history. We don't like history because we might hear something that is contrary to our narrative. So you're right, especially this time. Dig this. You ready? Or what, Harrigan? Yeah, I told like you said to tell. Okay, okay, okay. Look, Harrigan says he's tired of playing with you motherfuckers. So this is the deal. We just will you let me talk? Thank you. We just read an article, and it was about this Illinois weapons ban. And their attorney general, a guy named what was his name, Harrigan? Kwame who? Man, I can't even pronounce that. I'm not even gonna try. But his name is Kwame, okay? Anyway, he says that the founding fathers could not own high capacity magazines and such and so forth. No one could. Now, there was this thing called a harmonica gun in those days. I'm gonna let you look that one up. But on the real, the founding fathers were far better armed than the British, bruh. You see, we had rifled bores in our firearms, which meant that 50, 60, 70 caliber ball left the muzzle spinning at 100 revolutions, hundreds of revolutions per second, made it much more stable in flight. It could reach out to maybe 70, 80, 100 yards, maybe even more if you were truly skilled, whereas the British had a weapon that was a smoothbore. It wasn't a rifle, it was a smoothbore musket. And it could reach out accurately, maybe 30 yards, maybe 20, 30 if you're competent. Big difference, huh? You know why we had such better weapons? Because we had to use our weapons to hunt with, you see. And we figured out, hey, it wasn't that much more expensive to have our weapon made with a rifled barrel. And it gave us more velocity, it gave us better range, and it gave us better killing effect on target, regardless of the target. Which is why the British marched on Lexington and Concord, because they knew we had the rifles, but that's where most of the powder and shot was. Well, you see, they didn't get it either, did they? Now, I know some black folks are going to be like, man, them was a bunch of race. Did I say black folks? What? Yeah, I said black folks. What? Okay. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. These days, it wouldn't just be black folks. It would be you woke Caucasians as well. But fuck, they're black folks too, Harrigan. Thank you. Thank you. See, he even had to admit it. Black folks are. What do you want? I don't know. No, I'm not gonna. No. Okay, fuck it. Mrs. Harrigan says, when Joe Biden says you couldn't buy a cannon, he's absolutely a liar, and he is. Because we could buy cannons. Anybody could buy a cannon, as long as they had enough money to pay for it. I don't know why. Why did you bring that up? Can I say that? Yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't, because the YouTube people would go, and their heads would explode. So we don't want that to happen to anyone. But I don't know if any of you are familiar with the term letter of marque or the term privateer. I'll try and explain it to you. But you see, back in that day, you had people who had been given letters of marque from their government, which essentially made you a government sponsored legal. What's the word they would? Yeah, it is the word they would use for it today. Can I say that on YouTube? Okay, it would make you a modern day Blackwater. How's that? That works? Okay. It would make you a modern day mercenary. I can get away with that? You sure? Okay. It would make you a modern day mercenary. Uh, these were routinely handed out. At one time, several famous pirates like Blackbeard had letters of marque. They were privateers. That's what they were there for. See, our government is not supposed to have a standing military. Number one. Every state is supposed to have its own standing militia. Number two. What is a standing militia? Well, in them days, it was described as all males, able bodied, 18 years of age or older, were to have a long gun and be proficient with it, which was pretty much par for the course, because if you were 18 years of age or older, you had to feed yourself, and if you wanted to eat meat, you had to kill it, and if you wanted to kill it, you had to shoot it. If you wanted to shoot it, you had to be proficient with your long gun. You know, heaven forbid you got a family to feed. You know, so standing militia. That's a standing militia. Now, the way our government was set up, yeah, we should have a National Guard, but that National Guard should be a military force that is kept as small as possible and is never deployed outside the United States. And as I said, we do not have a standing national army, or at least we shouldn't. So those state National Guards would be your standing militia, and your citizens militia would be people like regular folk. If America stuck to that, and kept its fingers and feet and toes and mouth and other parts that I probably can't mention on here out of other people's business, we'd be much better off. Much better off. And somebody's going to say, change the batteries in your fire detector. Yeah, I will, soon enough. I ain't really worried about a fire. You know, if there's a fire around here, I'm worried about these youngins sitting in the laundry room smoking blunt after blunt after blunt that set off the fire alarms every weekend. That's what I'm worried about. But I digress. But the founding fathers actually understood, yes, they were racist, misogynist assholes. Yes, black folks was niggas, poor white folks was poor white trash, and women was somewhere in between. White women, that is, were somewhere in between. And actually a comely black woman who didn't mind doing this, that, and the other probably lived better than a lot of white women, on the real. It's just the way life is, I guess. You know, slavery is nothing new to humanity. We've been doing this to each other for one reason or another since there have been tribes and such of humans. I saw somewhere someone said that when you get tribes of people that are bigger than 500, at some point, when they, for whatever reason, when you hit that number, you find the strong taking advantage of the weak. It's human nature. We're predators. We're supposed to live in small cooperative villages. Technology's cool. There's no problem there. You know, let the techies live in techie villages. You know, but we as human beings are predators. We're territorial, and these massive societies that we live in of hundreds of millions to billions ain't what we need. It's not in our DNA, fellas, ladies, brothers, sisters. young ones, old ones, and in between ones. It's not in our nature. It's not what we were designed for. Um, you can say what you want to, but what you call or what they have told us is society is dystopian as fuck. Look around. Does this concrete do you any good? Does it nourish you? Or do you look at the green shit that's still left in the city and go, damn, that's pretty? You can't look at concrete and go, damn, that's pretty. Unless you happen to see a really nice building. And in that case, it's generally made out of something like good old Bedford, Indiana limestone. Something natural. But you can't find a glass monstrosity that you could look at and go, yeah, that's beautiful. You could look at it and marvel at how they did that shit. But you can't truly see its beauty, if you know what I mean. Maybe it's just me. But at any rate, brothers and sisters, I talk too much, I think too much, and I don't want to bore you. So, since I've already done that, I'll say peace and deuces. Holla.